What's happening, mother lovers? Drew checking in with you, inviting you back to my kitchen. Today I'm actually, I got to harvest the garden today, and so we've got a bunch of cabbage, beets, carrots here you can see behind me. And so today I just want to share with you how easy it is to make sauerkraut in your own home. As you know, I'm very passionate about living foods, as the best, most nutritious food that you can get is living raw foods. And so when you can't eat the food directly off the plant, the best way to preserve that is through fermentation. And so today I actually get to show you two of my passions. I'm also a potter. I've been doing ceramics since 2004, which is high school time for me. So I'll be showing you one of my crocks that I made. I make fermentation crocks with weights and water seal lids. I'll get more into that later in the video. But right now I just want to show you the process. So right now, I've already prepared a bunch of beets and carrots and shredded my cabbage. And so these already mostly have the salt in them. I'm using ground pink Himalayan salt. And so I'll just show you. It's about a tablespoon. Actually, it's about 6 tablespoons per gallon that you're making. We're making a gallon and a half. This is my crock here. And so after you sprinkle the salt on there, you'll actually massage the salt into the kraut. So with clean hands, it's kind of fun. It's like being a kid again with Play-Doh. Yeah, so you're letting your adult self play a little bit in the kitchen. But once you massage the salt into the sauerkraut, into the cabbage, and into your beets, the salt is actually drawing the liquid out of the cell wall and starting to create your brine. And so it's really important at the end, when you pack everything into your jar, that the brine level is above the weights. So these weights will be sitting on top, holding everything nice and firm below. And so that keeps a nice healthy layer where bacteria and mold can't form, and only the healthy bacteria and yeasts start to break down and ferment the cabbage. All right, so I've got most of my jar packed here. You can see the brine starting to bubble up amongst all the cabbage and carrot and beet shreds. I have just a little bit more cabbage here ready to go. Don't mind my mess everywhere. And so it's really as easy as packing it into a jar. This can be a glass jar. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. It is messy, so you can see the beets. It's actually a really beautiful color. You can see the brine coming off there in the liquid from the salt drawing it out. So you're really packing it in there. You want it to be solidly down in the jar. That way it holds its place and keeps below the brine level. Some people use a glass jar, an empty glass jar, to pack it down in there, like an old mason jar or something. And then once it's all in there, I've saved 1 leaf of cabbage. So I'm gonna put this giant broad leaf over top of this, pack it down in there, and then on top of that, I'll put the weights. And that's gonna help all those little food chunks stay below the brine level and safe while it ferments. All right. So we've got all of our sauerkraut now packed in, and you can't see it, but there's that broad leaf of cabbage that's in there. And then we have our weights that look just like this on top of that broad leaf of cabbage. And so that's holding most of those pieces down below the brine level. And then another function of the jar is that you add water to this moat right here that you see. And then the lid goes down in there and creates a seal. You can see where it burps out right there. And so you throw your lid in there. Just like that. And it's ready to go. So one last thing before I go. These are my fermentation crocks. This is my line that I make. Each one comes with their own weights, and they all have the water seal moat that you saw in the first jar. And they're all various sizes. So if anybody has any interest in that, they can get a hold of me via Facebook or email. I also make these small weights. These fit in wide mouth mason jars, and these ones fit in half-gallon mason jars. And that makes it really easy and really affordable to ferment and make pickles simply in glass jars in your own home. So I just want to thank everybody for joining me today and letting me share one of my passions with you. Yeah, it's really wonderful. Thanks for tuning in. If it's an idea worth sharing, please do so. Facebook advertising is expensive, and we're just trying to get the word out and do a good thing for the community. So once again, my name is Drew, and just always here to remind you to ferment your food and love your mother. Thanks for joining us.